Rango froze. The photograph was still in his hands. His eyes slowly moved across the image again. The chair, the table, the room, and behind him, that thing. Tall, unnaturally thin, his head tilted at a strange angle. Two glowing eyes staring directly at the camera. Rango's breath became slow and heavy. The room behind him was silent, still, empty, but the photograph was very clear. Something was standing right behind him. Very slowly, Rango turned his head. The hallway behind him looked exactly the same as before. Dark, quiet, nothing there. But the camera suddenly clicked again. By itself, another photograph slowly slid out. Rango grabbed the new photograph with shaking hands. The image began to develop. At first it showed the room again, but this time, the shadow creature was closer, much closer, standing directly behind Rango's chair, its long arms hanging down, its fingers almost touching his shoulder, and its hollow face leaned forward, as if it was studying him. Rango jumped to his feet. The chair crashed to the floor. He spun around. Nothing. No footsteps. No breathing. No shadow. Just empty air. But when he looked back at the photograph, the creature had moved again. Now it looked like it was leaning over the chair, reaching, watching, waiting. The camera clicked again. Another photograph printed. Then another. Then another. Click, click, click. The sound filled the quiet house. Rango stepped backward slowly. Each photograph showed the same room, but the creature kept moving closer. In the first photo, it stood across the room. In the second photo, it stood behind the chair. In the third photo, it was standing beside Rango, close enough that its shadow touched him. Rango's hands began to shake violently, because every new photo showed something worse. The creature was slowly leaving the pictures and entering the real world. Suddenly Rango remembered the old merchant. His words echoed in his mind. Never take a picture after midnight. Rango grabbed the camera from the table, his hands trembling. "All right, you cursed thing," he whispered. "If you came from this camera, then maybe you can go back." The hallway behind him grew darker, colder. The air felt heavy. Rango slowly lifted the camera again, but this time, he aimed it directly at the darkness behind him. Click. The flash lit the room for a brief second, and in that moment, Rango saw it. For the first time, not in the photo, not in the camera, but standing in the real hallway, tall, twisted, its long arms hanging like broken branches, its pale, cracked face barely visible in the dark, and those two glowing white eyes staring directly at him. The photograph printed slowly. Rango forced himself to look. The image showed the creature clearly now, standing inside his house, half real, half shadow. It was no longer trapped in the photographs. The lights flickered violently. The creature moved, not walking, sliding, gliding across the floor silently, its long fingers dragging across the wall. Rango ran, through the living room, past the kitchen, toward the front door, the camera still in his hand. Behind him the creature moved faster, its limbs stretching unnaturally long, its head twisting sideways. The house grew colder with every step, and the whisper began, a slow broken voice. More pictures. More faces. Rango burst outside into the night. The desert wind hit his face. He turned around. The creature stood in the doorway now, almost fully formed. No longer smoke, no longer shadow, almost real. Rango realized something. Every time the camera took a picture, the creature moved. Closer, stronger, more real. The camera wasn't trapping it. The camera was feeding it. Rango stared at the lens, then at the creature. Then he made a decision. The creature lunged forward, his claws stretching toward him. Rango raised the camera one last time. Click. The flash exploded in the darkness. For a moment the creature froze. Its entire body pulled violently toward the camera lens, like gravity had suddenly reversed. The photograph printed, but this time the image was different. The picture showed only darkness. No creature.
No shadow.
Nothing at all. Rango looked up. The doorway was empty. The creature was gone. The desert night was silent again. Rango stared down at the final photograph. At first it looked completely black. But slowly, very slowly, an image began to appear. The inside of the camera. And trapped inside the lens, the shadow creature. His pale face pressed against the glass. Its glowing eyes staring outward. Watching. Waiting. Rango felt a chill run down his spine. Because the creature wasn't gone. It was just trapped again. Inside the camera. The next morning. Back in the desert market. The same old merchant sat quietly at his table. The camera rested beside him again. Looking old. Harmless. Silent. A young traveler stopped in front of the table. He picked up the camera. "Hey, this looks cool," he said. The merchant looked at him slowly and sighed. "Some things," he paused, "should not remember faces." The traveler smiled. "I'll take it." Far inside the camera lens, two glowing white eyes opened.